Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the
Father Spezial will now lead us in the invocation.
Good morning. And we begin all things on this day, this graduation, this day for the class of 2017, in the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. Good and gracious God, we ask you to bless this class of 2017, their families and friends, present and in spirit. May they never forget you and what brought them to this day. Direct them to always be thankful for the blessings in their lives and not to take them for granted. Teach us to always care and never despair. Free our world from apathy and indifference. Help that the Christian values given and taught to our graduates will be put into practice for God and country. Guide their future endeavors, that they know and have faith that you have a plan and a purpose for each of them. Inspire them to hope in the goodness of life, even when faced with challenges and difficulties. Shape them to be virtuous witnesses to all that they meet. May they share their gifts for the world to see, selflessly and with humility. Fight away arrogance and laziness. Assist all of us to work hard to be saints by living our lives out of love for you and love for each other. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the salutatorian from the class of 2017, David Foner.
Good morning. I'm pleased to welcome to this graduation ceremony Mr. Christopher Momini, Secretary of Catholic Education in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, Mr. Frank Fox, President of Archbishop Carroll, and Dr. Anshin Schultz, Principal of Archbishop Carroll. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to all administrators, faculty, staff, parents, family, and friends, and especially to the graduating class of Archbishop Carroll on this special day. Here we are, class of 2017, graduation day. Today's a day for hugs and celebration, as well as for reminiscing. The path that led us to this day is different for each and every graduate, and following today, our journeys of life will take us in so many different directions. What's important is that we have come this far and have the ability today to celebrate our achievements over these last 4 years. One word that comes to mind without much thought when it comes to Catholic education is unity. Father Spezial tells us that we are a family almost every time we're gathered as a student body. And I didn't really begin to grasp this idea until I sat down to write this speech. This family began in September 2013, when many of us first walked through the doors of Archbishop Carroll as nervous freshmen, forgetting our locker combinations and believing there was a pool on the 5th floor. We developed our minds in the classroom, our bodies in the sports fields, and our hearts in the chapel. In so many ways, this class of 2017 has grown from a group of strangers trying to find their way to a family united by Catholic ideals. With Christ, Carroll has become a community. Without Christ, we would be just a school. I would be totally remiss if I failed to express our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to the administration and faculty of Archbishop Carroll for their tireless efforts to ensure our success and for forging the community you see before you today. Thank you to the teachers that saw the potential we had even when we failed to see it. Thank you, class of 2017, for becoming my family and providing for me some of the best friends I will ever have and a lifetime of memories. Thank you to those that remind us to get out of bed on time, wish us well every day, feed us, shelter us, and love us unconditionally, our parents. To all the mothers, fathers, grandparents, brothers, sisters, and extended family here today, thank you so much for your integral role in our development and your support for us all of our lives. As we depart from this ceremony into our next chapter of life, whether it be further education, entry into the working world, or wherever our path leads us, I'd like to share this quote from J.K. Rowling. "We're only as strong as we are united, as weak as we are divided." The reality is, we live in a world often characterized by division and violence. Class of 2017, even though today we will go our separate ways, we need to remain strong and united in our faith and ideals as we continue our journeys. That is the power of Catholic education, and it is that power that will help us to change the world. Thank you.
I would like to introduce Mr. James Corkery, Assistant Principal for Academic Affairs, who will announce the recipients of our awards and honors for the class of 2017.
Thank you. It is certainly my pleasure and privilege to announce the names of those students receiving academic medals. Our commencement program also lists the names of those seniors who received academic certificates. We extend our congratulations to both the recipients of medals and certificates. So that each student's name may be heard clearly, I ask that all applause be held until the final student is recognized. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Art is presented to Emily M. Anderson. Most Outstanding Male Senior Athlete Award is presented to Nicholas Argentieri. U.S. Marine Corps Male Scholarship Excellence Award is presented to Zachary Campbell. The Patrick Malone Memorial Award, presented to the senior who demonstrates academic excellence and dedicated service to St. Catherine's Day School, is presented to Tyler Conboy. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Theology is presented to Gianna Del Bonafro. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Music, Chorus, is presented to Jessica Doorley. Scholar Athlete Award, the highest ranked male student athlete who has earned all Catholic honors and or a varsity letter in 2 or more sports during senior year, is presented to Kevin Downs. The Scholar Athlete Award to the highest ranked female student athlete who has earned all Catholic honors and or a varsity letter in 2 or more sports during their senior year, and the John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Italian are presented to Madeline Ferrioli. The Thomas A. Nedelka Award for Literature is presented to Bailey Gavin. The Matthew T.J. Bevenauer Award is presented to Tess Gibbons. The Barbara J. Ryan Award for Science and the U.S. Army Reserve Scholar Athlete Award is presented to Catherine Haganey. A certificate for perfect attendance for 4 years is presented to Lane Icavella. The Most Spirited Female Senior Award, presented by the faculty to a senior who exhibits enthusiasm and loyalty to Archbishop Carroll High School, and the Jackie McCarran Memorial Award, presented to the senior who demonstrates spirit and compassion to the students with disabilities is presented to Jennifer Kraft. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Advanced Placement Calculus is presented to U.Y. Lau. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Advanced Placement English is presented to Gabrielle Lyons. A certificate for perfect attendance for 4 years is presented to Morgan McGuire. The Congressman Patrick Meehan Good Citizen Award is presented to Ryan McCarthy. The U.S. Marine Corps Distinguished Male Athlete Award is presented to Jesse McPherson. A certificate for perfect attendance for 4 years is presented to Guillermo Mergatio. The Most Spirited Male Senior Award presented by the faculty to a senior who exhibits enthusiasm and loyalty to Archbishop Carroll High School is presented to Mark Natali. Congressman Patrick Meehan Good Citizen Award and a certificate for perfect attendance for 4 years is presented to Jessica Redding. The St. John Baptist de La Salle Award is presented to Mary Rothing. The U.S. Marine Corps Distinguished Female Athlete Award is presented to Isabella Sorrentino. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Spanish is presented to Sophia Soden. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Business Technology is presented to Eric Stevens. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Music, Band, and a John Carroll Medal for Journalism in recognition of consistent and outstanding contribution to the school's newspaper, Carroll Times, is presented to Brittany Sterling Young. A certificate for perfect attendance for 4 years is presented to Nina Strafacci. Most Outstanding Female Senior Athlete Award is presented to Samantha Swart. The Anthony Campiglia Certificate for Excellence in the Study of Social Studies is presented to Rebecca Weber. The John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Social Studies, the U.S. Army Reserve Scholar Athlete Award, the John Carroll Medal for Excellence in the Study of Science, and the Salutatorian Medal are presented to David Foner. The U.S. Marine Corps Female Scholarship Excellence Award and the Valedictorian Medal are presented to Isabel Rulo. Please join me in congratulating all of our recipients of certificates and medals. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Allison Papantonio will now present the James Mullen Scholarship and the Class of 2017 Dominic L. Coyle Memorial Award.
The James Mullen Scholarship is awarded to a senior who best exemplifies the qualities of true Christian witness, good sportsmanship, and academic scholarship. The James Mullen Scholarship is awarded to Ariana N. Rakes. Today I have the honor of presenting the Class of 2017 Dominic L. Coyle Memorial Award. In recognition of a life well lived, one that reflected kindness, generosity, and an overwhelming desire to make a difference in the world, we present this scholarship to a senior who most embodies Dominic's spirit, character, and devotion to his community, and who also excels in academics, in service, and in faith. The Dominic L. Coyle Memorial Award is presented to Bailey R. Gavin. Ladies and gentlemen, our principal, Dr. Anshin Schultz.
Family, friends, faculty, President Fox, board members, and Secretary Momini. We are all here to congratulate our seniors for their accomplishments and to celebrate their graduation from Archbishop Carroll High School. These young men and women have grown so many ways over the past 4 years. We have worked together with you to ensure that the formation and education that all of you began when these students were just children have been strengthened and enhanced through our academic programs and extracurricular opportunities. These students are now prepared to embark on new life adventures, which include attending 2-year colleges, 4-year colleges and universities, enlisting in the military, entering the workforce, and taking a gap year to explore other opportunities. We all recognize that graduation from high school is just the completion of another stage of life. For many, a new life will begin independent from the home in which they were raised by their parents and guardians, perhaps with siblings, and maybe even beloved pets. Seniors, you will now begin making more and more independent decisions on your own and relying on all the wisdom that your family has handed down to you over the years. However, there have been other sources of wisdom, other people who have been truly influential in your lives. Let's take a moment right now to think. Close your eyes. In the stillness of this moment, was it a relative, your pastor, a teacher, a friend's parent, someone who made a difference in your life, taught you a great life lesson, something you still live by today? Wisdom and life lessons come from many sources, and so does education. We, of course, immediately think about school when we think about education, but we learn in many ways from many sources. So let me ask you right now to think a little bit differently about education. I want to take you one step further down the road of life, to the real purpose of education. The truth is, education is not really about memorizing factual information and knowledge so you can make 100 on a test. The real value of education comes from opening your mind, to learning how to think, to learning about how to pay attention, to being aware of the real possibilities all around us in everyday life. Education provides us freedom, the freedom to think, to make choices, to dream about what can be done, to be open to new ideas, to create, to invent, to make mistakes, and to learn from them, to be excited by the wonder of always looking toward the future, and more importantly, to decide what has real meaning in our lives. Education is powerful. It gives us the ability to choose, to decide what's important, to change lives, and to make a difference in the world. So the wisdom that I share with you today, as you continue your life journey, comes from the following three sources. First, from Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So I challenge you to be brave. Take the road less traveled, and make your own mark in the world. Wisdom from Tim McGraw, stay humble and kind. When you get where you're going, don't forget, turn back around and help the next one in line, and always stay humble and kind. So my challenge to you is, let the golden rule be your compass, and you'll find that you always will be centered, and you will stay humble and kind. And the third piece of wisdom comes from the sign as you drive into Archbishop Carroll every day, and as you pass through the hallway on the second floor. May our journey be a concern for others, a road of peace, a path of love. And my challenge to you is to carry with you this wisdom, which is at the core of our Carroll Cares culture. May it always lead you back to Archbishop Carroll. So seniors of 2017, thank you for sharing your God-given gifts and talents so freely and generously with everyone you meet. Thank you for making Carroll Cares a reality for everyone in our school culture. Thank you for welcoming me into your loving hearts and accepting me so warmly as your new principal. I've loved every minute of this year, and it's because all of you have so graciously shared your special senior year with me. I'm so very proud of each and every one of you. May God be with you as you continue your amazing life journeys. Be brave, stand up for what's right, decide what has real meaning in your life, and know that you can make a difference in the world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Archbishop Carroll Band will now perform an instrumental selection entitled Doctor Who Through Time and Space under the direction of Mr. Zachary Larimer. and gentlemen, the valedictorian from the class of 2017, Isabel Rulo.
St. Ignatius of Loyola is known for ending his letters to Jesuits as they departed for their missions with the phrase, Ite inflammate omnia, which simply translates to go forth and set the world on fire. This is our challenge as we leave the comfort of the halls of Archbishop Carroll today and get ready to go on to the next step in our lives. While this may seem like a cliche graduation message, this will mean something different for every person sitting in this room. In order to figure out how we can each set the world on fire, we must take a look back at how much we have each grown and accomplished already. 4 years ago, we arrived at Archbishop Carroll as a group of overwhelmed kids, solely known as the class of 2017, who did not know each other and had no idea what to expect from high school. All we knew was that Mr. Fox thought we were spectacular and extraordinary, and that we were part of some secret sauce. However, through the years, we each grew up and learned to love each other and love our school. Now, we are all leaving as adults that will be ready to face the unfamiliar and exciting challenges life will present to each one of us. Whether the next step is attending college, starting a job, traveling, or simply figuring out what the next step should be, we can always rely on the solid foundation Archbishop Carroll has given to each one of us. We have been molded into these adults through our countless highlights in high school, whether it was through the many sports victories, academic successes, going on Kairos, or participating in acts. Each of these moments has left different imprints on all of us, and they have helped us to learn and prepare for the many exciting achievements to come in the future. Numerous people have guided and assisted us along the way, most especially our parents, teachers, coaches, faculty, siblings, and peers. Each of these people has played a part in our transformation by pushing us to expand our horizons, whether it was through learning something new in class, being a better athlete, trying a new activity, or just growing in our faith life. We could not have achieved anything without their constant love and support. All of this has brought many different memories and lessons for each one of us to cherish, and our time at Carroll has certainly laid a solid foundation for us as we begin a new chapter in our lives. Carroll will always be a home for us, and we are always welcome back here, and we will remember our experience as we move on and go to explore different paths in the future. We will forever be grateful to this home and to our Patriot family and all that they have done for us to transform this class into a group of adults that are ready to take on the world. Collectively, our new objective is to take this foundation that we have gained here and use it to set the world on fire. How we will do this is up to each person individually, but we have all gained substantial knowledge and experience over these past 4 years to do so with overwhelming success. Even though everyone has a different path laid out in front of them, we should still most importantly strive to be people of God. To be a person of God, you need to have strong morals, a desire to help others, and a true passion for whatever it is you do. Pedro Arrupe was a very famous priest who was known for his commitment to providing justice in the world during his time as Superior General of the Society of Jesus. This is a great quote of his that stresses how crucial it is for us to have passion. He says, "What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what gets you out of bed in the mornings, what you do with your evenings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything." So, as we leave Carroll and go on to fall in love with different things, whether it be a job, a hobby, or even another person, know that we will be united forever from our time here. Everyone here has had significant moments over the past 4 years that have helped them to expand their knowledge and develop into the people they are now. Even though we may experience hardships and uncertainty as we transition into the next step, we can remember that that is the same way high school started for us, and it turned out to be a fantastic overall experience. Thank you to our time at Archbishop Carroll. We are now all officially ready to leave here today and use our individual, unique talents and goals to go forth and set the world on fire. God bless the Archbishop Carroll family, and remember, be good to one another. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Archbishop Carroll Chorus will now sing a selection entitled "Why We Sing" under the direction of Mr. Jeremy Triplett. Will the senior members of the band and chorus please return to sit with their homeroom for diploma distribution? Ladies and gentlemen, our principal, Dr. Anshin Schultz.
It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the presider for the 2017 graduation exercise, Mr. Christopher Momini. Mr. Momini is the Chief Operating Officer and Secretary for Catholic Education. He oversees all matters pertaining to Catholic education in the Archdiocese. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Christopher Momini.
So I think I'm the only thing standing between you and these diplomas. So I'll be very brief. President Fox and Dr. Schultz, and honored guests and graduates of the class of 2017. Before we do leave here and become what we have known for 4 years, we become the body of Christ to our world. I just want to offer a few brief reflections. Because what we celebrate today for you as the class of 2017 is in some regards your final act. In that vein, though, I don't have any clever words of inspiration for you today, and nothing that I can say will stick with you for a lifetime. But I do hope and pray, as was already conveyed to you in the valedictory and salutatory speeches, that this uniquely Catholic education that you have received will stick with you for a lifetime. And I trust that what you learned in the walls of Archbishop Carroll were not lessons from a book, but lessons from your teachers, your administrators, those who cared for you and nurtured you and encouraged you to reach your God-given potential. And I hope these were lessons in charity and lessons in compassion, lessons in faith, and of course, lessons in love. So I don't have any words, but I do have this little prop that I brought with me. And I pray it doesn't break by the end of the week as I get through another 4 graduations. But I have this little prop, and of course it's a mirror. And maybe the analogy is obvious to you. Yes, we want you to go into the world, and we want you to reflect the face of Jesus Christ. And yes, we want you to go into the world to be the face of God and be God's reflection to those who are most vulnerable, the poor, the weak, the unborn, and the disadvantaged. So there's a lot of obvious lessons from this mirror. But I brought this particular mirror with me today for a specific reason. I don't know if you can see it from where you're sitting, but down at the bottom here, it says this: objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. And so, graduates, you already know that we live in a society that has a tough time seeing God. And there are volumes of books written about why that might be. But you, as products of Catholic schools, know differently. You know what it means to be a sacrament for others. You know now how to get involved in the lives of others who need loving, and let them know that indeed God is closer than he appears. But how you do this from this point forward is going to be completely up to you. How you let people know that God is close will take on many forms, because you will be leaders and engineers and vets and doctors and lawyers, businessmen and women, teachers, accountants, and probably some filmmakers. But in the end, as an alumnus of this school, we expect that you will be, above all, a witness to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so I began by talking about today being your final act. And thinking about how I might conclude today, I thought immediately of the final act of the hit Broadway musical Les Mis. You know this musical, yes? As the play concludes, the lead character Jean Valjean lay dying, uttering his final confession to his beloved daughter Cosette.
Amber J. Wainwright, Shifei Wang, Natalia C. Ward, Emily L. Wittig, Johnbin Zhang. The National Honor Society Treasurer, Madison E. Bristow. The National Honor Society Secretary, Rose M. Kokel. The National Honor Society President, Brittany Sterling Young. Please join me in congratulating the members of the National Honor Society.
Will the valedictorian, salutatorian, and the members of the Student Council Executive Board please stand? Class salutatorian and Vice President of Student Council, David Foner. Class valedictorian, Isabel Rulo.
Public Relations Chair, Jessica Redding. Events Chair, Rebecca Weber. Executive Chair, Kevin Patzik. And the President of Student Council, Nicholas Argentieri. Please join me in congratulating the salutatorian, valedictorian, and executive board. Would the members of the class of 2017 please stand? You can come up here. We would like to pause and honor a member of our Carroll family and of the class of 2017 who we remember in a special way today. We would like to ask Jack Coyle, class of 2015, to come forward and accept an honorary diploma in memory of his brother, Dominic L. Coyle. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, our president, Mr. Frank Fox.
I just need a moment to compose myself. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is my 4th year as president, and what an honor to be here at the commencement ceremony for the class of 2017. And I've always been really impressed with the Carroll commencements because they are so beautiful. The music, the speeches, frankly, the efficiency that they're run, and it's due to a large number of people, but one person in particular, and I just want to acknowledge Mrs. Allison Papantonio. So Secretary Momini said that he was the one standing between you graduates and Dr. Schultz conferring you as graduates of Archbishop Carroll, but in fact it's me. And I just want to pick up on something that Secretary Momeny said. I see the face of God in nearly 2,000 people in this room. I love each one of you for the commitment you've made to Carroll. And to ensure that the commencement ceremony wraps up very shortly, I'm going to take 3 steps that I've never taken before in a commencement. The first step is I'm going to close my prepared notes. I'm not going to read from them. That's a little scary. The second is I'm going to move away from the podium, and that's really scary because when fruit is thrown, 3/4 of your body is protected. So I'm going to walk away from the podium. The third thing I'm going to do is stand in front of you, 2,000 of you, in a row, okay? So you know that this speech is going to go very quickly. First, I want to do the mandatory thank yous. And when you hear the word mandatory, you might think of a negative connotation, an obligation. But that's not the case at all. It's extremely appropriate. So it's appropriate that we are acknowledging our graduates for all their great feats, but it's also appropriate to thank everyone in this room that gave them the opportunity to sit in those seats. A seat that this month, 40 years ago, I sat in. And my love for this school today is stronger than it was 40 years ago. And each year, it gets stronger. The first thank you and acknowledgement I want to make, and half of this room was at the baccalaureate mass last evening, is to just a superstar at our school that ripped the cover off of this ceremony, this mass, Father Michael Spezial. My next acknowledgement goes to Secretary Momeny. And Chris and I go back 4 years now, and he started a few months sooner than me. And I was his first hire in the Archdiocese, so talk about pressure and succeeding. But I have to tell you, any success that you've seen at Carroll over the last 4 years, anything, has come with the support of Secretary Momeny and the Office of Catholic Education. It's a new day for Catholic education in Philadelphia, and it's because of the vision, the support, and whatever we need from OCE. So, Chris, thank you. Dr. Schultz, what can I say? You have been a blessing this entire year. You have plans to take this school even further academically. I am so happy you're my partner. Thank you so much. There's a person every day that shows up for me and assists me, and it's a mountain of work, and she organizes it and makes me as efficient as possible so I can do my job as well as possible. Mrs. Kathy O'Keefe. So, while you guys are in classes, a lot's going on administratively. And I really want to thank the team, Mr. Corkery, Mr. Hickey, Mrs. Papantonio, Dr. Schultz. But there is a team behind me that helps me with the process that is just spectacular. And it's my board of directors that I'm going to ask to stand in a minute. And there are 2 consultants that for 3 years has helped me in such a meaningful way. One is Mrs. Jane Mulaney, who couldn't be with us today, but one is Mr. Bob Curry, the grandfather of Katie Curry, who is nationally renowned for team building in this country. And we wouldn't be where we are today without their help. May I ask the board members to stand? So, Mrs. Finley, the mother of Dan, sorry Dan to embarrass you, sent me an email 2 days ago, and it was a cartoon strip of Peanuts, something I haven't seen since I was a kid. And it was Peppermint Patty and Charlie Brown sitting under a tree. And Peppermint Patty asked Charlie Brown, "What do teachers make?" And Charlie Brown thinks for a minute, and he looks at her and says, "Teachers make a difference, Peppermint Patty. Teachers make a difference." And I'm very biased, but I believe a school is as good as your faculty. I believe we have one of the finest faculties in Philadelphia. Guys, thank you so much. And we could just whip through the faculty guys and say, "Hey, thanks, good job." But we need to do more than that, because 4 of these faculty members are moving on. And it's a really sad day for Carroll because they're all spectacular. So one is Nadina Umale, and she's been an Italian teacher for 21 years, and 20 of those have been in Archbishop Carroll. And she has given the joy of the Italian language to so many thousands of our students. And Nadina, where are you? Nadina. So, Nadina, 21 anni, complimenti, grazie a tutti, buona fortuna. And I just want to say, and you guys can add it up because I'm going to do a few numbers real quickly. These 4 individuals have been in Catholic education 140 years total. 140 years, making a difference. The next person leaving us is Bill Halber. And Mr. Halber has been in the system for 37 years and Carroll for 21 years. And Bill, we've had a lot of math teachers here, but you've been absolutely one of the best, and you have really made a difference. Thank you so much. The next retiree is a really special woman named Mrs. Charmaine Gates, and she has been our librarian and National Honor Society moderator for 37 years. 37 years, all at Archbishop Carroll. And why is she so special? Besides her demeanor and her Catholic identity, she has taken one of the most fast-changing fields in the library and has adapted. And that's been great for our kids. Charmaine, we're going to miss you dearly. Last but not least, 45 years for Mr. John Morris. John has taught business and accounting to literally thousands of Carroll students, and all 45 years have been here. And many of them have gone on to great success. And when I talk to them, they say, I owe the success to John Morris, who planted that seed of business with me. So John, thank you again. The foundation of your success, class of 2017, have been your parents, your guardians, your grandparents, your extended family. They have been your foundation. Let's thank them. So class of 2017, you arrived, if I'm not mistaken, September 4th, 2013. I was there a few weeks before you. And you're leaving school June 7th, 2017. So my wife saw me at the table with a pencil and a pad, and my finger's getting a little raw, and I'm counting how many days you've been here, okay? And after 3 days, she says, Frank, you know, there's a thing called the internet, and all you have to do is put in the starting date and this date, and it turns into 1,372 days that we've been together. 1,372 days that we've been together. And Secretary Momini sent out last week an amazing email to all the families in this room and 150,000 families throughout the Archdiocese, making the analogy that those 1,372 days in your lives is really a huge chunk of your time. Because if you think about it, I don't know about you, but for me, I don't remember much from 0 to 4. So 1,372 days is like 40% of your lives have been here at Carroll. And what great things that you have done. In the academic and in the classroom, you've raised over $21 million in scholarship to a very high percentage of our students. That is absolutely awesome. Give yourself a round of applause for that. You've done amazing things outside of the classroom, in this class in particular. You've done amazing things on the athletic field. And hey, how about the girls lacrosse, the very first team at Carroll, other than basketball, going to the state finals this Saturday in Westchester. Noon at Westchester University, be there. You have done, this class in particular, FON. What an amazing event you've put together. In 2 years, this last year, you raised over $50,000 for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. You spent 4 years where the transformation at Carroll has been the most dramatic in our 50-year history. From the campus improvements to Carroll Force, one word, no spacing, Carroll for Christ every day, for everything Mr. Phillips does, for your Kairos retreats, to Carroll U, which is for college prep, which is just going to get better and better. You have been there for all of it. But you've been there for some difficult things too. You haven't always done well in the classroom. You haven't always won every game. And the worst thing of all is losing a classmate, a friend, and a son. And we're wearing these patches for Dominic today to show our solidarity for each other and for the Coyle family. And I can't thank the Coyle family enough for not turning your backs to us, but for running to us for support. Because by doing that, we saw your faith and your grace in an unthinkable tragedy, and we cannot thank you enough. Thank you. So guys, here's the kind of the awkward part of my talk to you, and that is you're expected to give some pearls of wisdom as you move forward. And I don't like preaching to anybody, so that's a little awkward for me. And in the Eastern civilization, the religious and the monks have a saying: those that say don't know, and those that know don't say. So my suggestion for you is I'm going to give you thoughts for your consideration. That when I was there 40 years ago this month, I wish somebody told me these 3 things. It would have saved me a lot of time and hardship. And as Secretary Momini said, you may not remember any of it, and that's okay. But one of you out here will. My first thought for your consideration is don't go through life alone. So, life is a team sport. You may think, hey, Mr. Fox, I get up in the morning, I go to school, I'm involved, but guess what? If you're not sharing with your friends, if you don't have a mentor, if you're not opening up to your parents, you are going through life alone. I won't go into the details, but at a very young age, I made a decision to go it on my own. And that worked as long as it could work. But you know what? They have a saying, first thought, wrong. First thought, wrong. And so you become a very willful person under that scenario. You may get everything that you want, but it may not be what God wants of you. Don't go through life alone. The second point, be bold and take risks. Be bold and take risks. And that's scary because you might be criticized for doing that. And the great philosopher Aristotle, who had a thought for everything, talks about what it takes not to be criticized. What it takes not to be criticized is do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Don't be relevant. When I was 20 years old, the phone rang in my house, and I was living at home with my parents going to St. Joe's University. And the next thing I hear is my father screaming my name in not a very nice tone. And what had happened was, it was a call from a mortgage company. And they said, Mr. Fox, you have your loan. And my dad said, what the heck are you talking about? And then he screamed Frank. So I knew if I told my father that I bought a home, an investment property, he would have tried to take me out of it. Now, I consulted with some people about it, but I did it. And that opened the door for a 30-year career that I absolutely love. It's where God wanted me. Be bold and take risks. The third thought for your consideration, and to me, this is the most important. If you want happiness, serenity, fulfillment, relevance in your life, you must be of service to others. If you are not of service to your others, it's my experience, and there's no exceptions to the rule, you're going to be miserable long term. So class of 2017, I mentioned that your parents and your loved ones have given you the foundation that makes you sit right here today. Archbishop Carroll has given you wings. Fly into the future, make a difference, and know that I say this for the last time. Class of 2017, you are spectacular, and you are extraordinary, and you are the secret sauce. Thank you.
Please welcome our principal, Dr. Anshin Schultz.
Class of 2017, would you please stand? By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, and in recognition of their successful completion of all the requirements for graduation from Archbishop John Carroll High School, diplomas are awarded to the young men and women whose names have been announced. Congratulations, class of 2017. Please turn your tassels. At this time, we ask members of the class of 2017 to acknowledge their family for their loving support. Mr. Triplett.
The
Tell Chris where to go.